You're listening to Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technologically advanced silhouette decoy on the market. First Light, the best hunting gear on the planet. Go farther, stay longer. And Ducklander Calls, tradition, education, and quality. Built to hunt.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Union 0430. This is episode 153, and it's been a minute, man, since we've had the unofficial sixth member of the Union, Mr. Jeff Coates, Captain Jeff Coates, Mr. Pitboss Waterfowl himself. Welcome back, buddy. It's great to see you, and I got to tell you, those locks are coming in long right now.
Everybody thought I was bald, man, but I got to stop you. You got to give me a better, hey, everybody, we're back. Come on, man. I got to amp you up some.
Okay. Hey, everybody, we're back.
There you go.
There we go. We're back. This is episode 153, and the man that is in Maryland, and you guys know him because he's the unofficial sixth member of the Union 0430, Mr. Pitboss himself, Jeff Coates. Welcome back, brother. How's that?
Thank you. I like that better. Thank you very much.
Okay. I gotta work on it. I'm thrown at a whack right now because the last couple episodes I've had to do them on like Saturday afternoons, and here we are Saturday afternoon. Looks like you got a beautiful day down in Maryland. It's beautiful up here. So I'm sort of kind of at a whack here right now. So I'll work on my enthusiasm.
I'm just trying to help you out, man. I'm here for you.
I know you are. How you been, man? It's been a minute since we chatted.
It has been 100%. Man, busy and good and busy. I am sitting in our unofficial outdoor studio, so I hope the audio is not too bad for you.
No,
but
good.
Yeah, we've just been it's just been busy, and I always say that busy and good and busy. Things are moving much slower here than truly what I anticipated way back, when the project first started. But it's still moving forward. But my not famous, but my line that I use most currently, Monday turns into Friday, turns into another week that nothing got done. And not from a lack of trying on our part, but just other people that certain aspects of this, Chris Wilhelm, pole building outfitters, man, he's been top notch and no problems. And there's been lots of other people like that too. But then some of the other trades you get into, man, like you just nonstop texting and calling and just got to stay on them because like it just doesn't get done. Yeah. So
it seems like it's a common theme on both sides of the border, because I've got a friend that's building a house. He's getting a new house built, and he's telling me like he'll go 3 and 4 days. And the contractor just won't even show up. You know what I mean? Like, and he's got his subfloor down, and he's just waiting for framing, and they're like, yeah, it's calling for rain, so we're not coming, and then there's no rain.
I can tell you 100%. I'm not exaggerating on this at all. There's two, and I kind of try to take. I'm not the best note taker, but I do take notes. I can tell you there were 2 periods with the electric contractor that 2 weeks went by that like zero got done, whether it was trying something to get inspected, wow. They went off on a tangent someplace else doing something else, and so 2 weeks turns into 4 weeks, and that's another whole I don't want to whine and complain, but there's another month of interest paid on a construction loan that like nothing basically. I feel like the electric, they held us up at least a month.
Wow.
We had to pay a month extra in insurance on the construction because they didn't do anything.
Wow.
So anyway,
no, but it's got to be frustrating because I know how busy both you and Karen are, and the longer these things get postponed or the longer it takes for things to actually get done, well, it just bleeds into another activity or another thing that has to get done, right? Like your season's coming up soon.
Summer's flying by. Yes, it is.
I said to my wife this morning, I said, when you were a teenager, did it seem like the summer was like long? Like when you got out from school for summer, it seemed like the summer just went on forever. And now, like you just said, Monday turns into Friday and it's another week gone.
Yep, that's the truth. I agree with you on that. And maybe unrealistically, actually, Chris was here. We had a little get together last night. Chris was here, and he reminded me that I said, "Oh yeah, April 1st, we would be in here." And he's like, he kind of said, "I don't think that's going to happen." So I was like, "Okay, well then, May 1st."
Yeah.
And May 1st, and I was sincere about
Yeah.
May 1st. We can make it happen May 1st. And again, there's at least 4 weeks in there. The electric held us up, so there's another month.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's shoot for June 1st. And that came and passed. All right, well, I guess July 1st is going to be my new goal.
Yeah.
And we're still not 100% here. And it's I don't know. I don't want to be complaining. I guess more explaining than complaining, but it is what it is. And
Yeah.
I guess I should feel fortunate. I say this to Karen quite often. As much as I want to bitch and complain about everything, we kind of jumped through all the hoops and did all the stuff that we had to do. That especially being self-employed and trying to get loans and all that type of thing. That I guess I should be happy and fortunate that we're able to do this. And next year, look back and we'll just say, hey, we'll be happy. We'll kind of maybe forget about some of these trials and tribulations and pains of trying to make it happen. We'll just be happy next year of like, hey, this is awesome, and move on.
Yeah, of course. Like when it's all said and done, you'll sit back, have a coffee, and laugh and bring up some of the frustrations and stuff like that. But it's still, and I don't think anybody would view you as though you're complaining. Like for anybody that's been following your social media for the last year and a half, they've been following this journey that you and Karen have been on, and I'm sure the people that follow you are like, man, like it's taken him a long time to get into that house, right? And you don't get on your social media and complain and stuff like that, but people see it, right? Like they're, man, like he's still messing around and trying to get into PBHQ. And so I don't think anybody thinks that you're complaining, but it is a good outlook on life to be able to sit back and say, you know what, it's frustrating, but I'm pretty fortunate that I still get to do this sort of thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, because the worst thing would be is that we couldn't get this loan or couldn't get this money or do this or that, the other, and this wouldn't be here, right? So I guess I should, is it half full or half empty glass kind of thing, right? So I'm going to look at it and say, well, I mean, even though I'm bothered and I won't say upset, but definitely bothered by certain aspects of this, I guess at the same time we should be very fortunate that we're able to do this. So we should feel that we're happy and fortunate that we're able to do this. So
yeah, well, I know what you mean, buddy, and I don't think any less of you. I think it's awesome, and I love it. I can't wait to come visit at some point. I really can't, because I really just want to be able to see it up close and personal. But
I look forward to you getting here.
Yeah. Which is another, it's always a mess, man, trying to piece together stuff and get other people and other people, it's easy for me. I'm like you, right? I'm self-employed, so I pretty much make my own schedule, so I don't have to rely on a boss or anything like that when it comes to making plans, right? And I get it, other people work full-time jobs and they need vacation time and stuff like that. It's frustrating trying to get a crew together, or it's not hard to get a crew together. It's just hard to get a crew to pick a date. That's the hard part. But listen now, so the season, we were talking about it, the summer is flying by. Here we're almost at the end of July here right now. The season's going to be upon us before you know it. Like, what are the changes this year so there's no more that special sea duck season no more, right?
Yeah, so this will be the second year that there is no special sea duck season in the Atlantic Flyway. So basically, whatever state you're in, when that duck season's open, that's when you can target sea ducks. So basically, not that sea ducks aren't ducks anyway, but as far as the bag limit and seasons go, sea ducks are now ducks. So this is the second year of that. Really not much of a change in that aspect of it. The biggest change for us in Maryland, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, the AP goose season, the Atlantic population goose, it's been a 30-day one bird season for the last 3 years, and they increased it to a 45-day two bird. So I know
wow.
Fred Wests of the world are very happy that now they can shoot 2 Canada geese versus 1, plus they're getting 15 more days to do it. So
that's good.
Yeah, that's the upside. The downside is Brant has been a 50-day two bird limit for 50-day two bird season limit for 4 years, I guess, and it's being decreased to a 30-day one bird this year.
Really, I did hear somebody say, I don't know, maybe I read it or what, but I remember something about the Brant population not look so it wasn't science based. I think it was hunter based. Hunters just saying that they're not seeing Brant like they normally would see Brant. So I don't know if it's the population is affected or if it's just climate change and changing their flyway or what. But it seems like I remember reading something about the Brant not showing up in places where they normally would.
Yeah, that I can tell you specifically for us here on the Lower Eastern Shore of Maryland and Ocean City area, we have not had a winter. Yes, it's winter every year, but like it just have not had cold temperatures.
Yeah.
Brant is I don't know if it's, I'm going to say it's the only bird. There may be another bird in there, but Brant, to my knowledge, is the only bird that they set next year's season on this year's winter count. So in January, they do the winter count all along the Atlantic Flyway, excuse me. And whatever that number is, or whatever that index number is, that's what they base next year's season on. So the season dropped, because of the winter count. There's not as many birds. Now, whether those birds are someplace else and they're not getting counted, I guess that's always a possibility too. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely not seen as many in our areas over the really the last three seasons.
Really?
Yeah, particularly for me. So, sorry for that noise.
No, never heard of it.
Okay, good. It was loud to me.
Yeah, never
well, so on the special sea duck season, ended like the first week of January. So we still had the end of January. Basically, the last couple of years, I targeted or concentrated on Brant hunts, and I kind of, I'm an honest kind of guide and guy, and I would tell people like, hey man, there's not a lot of Brant around. If you want to go, I'll do my best, but at the same time, I'm giving you an out. So if you don't want to go, or if you really need to shoot a limit of them, I suggest you don't go, kind of thing. And there's just not a lot around. So
how are you? Is anybody like, are you fully booked up now for the season? Are people still able to call and get hunts right now?
I've got 4, and one of the days happens to be Christmas, so that's probably not a good book. But I've got 4 single days, and I'm already booking because I'm booked now. The guys are flipping over to the 24-25 season, so I'm actually booking, for the following year.
That's amazing.
Thank you. It just happens earlier and quicker each year because we're end of July, so I will get calls and emails now, basically through the season, and I've learned this over the years, man, and I'm exactly the same way. If I want to do something, you tell me I can't do it, makes me want to do it more, and that's kind of some of the mindset that happens. As soon as I say you can't go, then I'll look into next year. Let's do that. So it happens quicker. Get booked up quicker.
Well, do you think also too that something, and here's the philosophical aspect of the show, but we've talked about it already. With time just seems to be passing by us so fast. Do you think people are just at the point now where they're like, you know what? I'm just not going to put this off anymore. I'm not putting it off. I want to go hunt with Jeff Coates, and if it means I got to book a year in advance, then so be it. I don't care. I'm just done putting things off and postponing and procrastinating, and it's just time to do it. And I think personally, I think that got a lot to do with it, especially when as people get a little bit older. I think they realize time time is a commodity, right?
Yeah, 100%, man. I always tell people, like, I want to be here next month, but there's no guarantee I'm going to be here next month. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
better do today what you want to do versus putting it off, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh shit. Sorry. Something just caught my eye there. So the new pup, you sent me a video the other day, and I gotta admit, I was like, oh shit, is there something wrong with the pup's mouth? I was like, is the teeth not coming in or something? I couldn't tell, right? And I was like, I don't know what's going on in this video. And then you explained to me that Karen has give the approval to move to the next step in training, right?
We can move forward. And one of the biggest things was, and it came, and she tried pulling on it a couple different times, and that sucker was in there, but her lower left canine,
Yeah.
she had a double. The baby tooth just wasn't going to come out, and the adult tooth was up in there, and Karen's concerned it's gonna jack her mouth up, that the alignment and that kind of thing, and
Yeah.
and so when it popped out the other day finally, and that's when I said we took the quick video, because I was like, man, her teeth are looking good, and she
Yeah.
got in there, and she's like, it's go, we can do it. She's all good to go. So let's start this process.
So what's the next process for you now? Is it force fetch or just?
Yep.
Yeah.
I like to teach the first, my definition, or my training method of force fetching is basically working on hold a good bit. So
Yeah.
we get her up on the table, and basically I just start with my hand in her mouth, on her tongue.
Really? Yeah.
Yep. The thumb on the. Karen couldn't tell me off to the side, or she couldn't tell me what's. She was making up all kinds of words the other day, mandible and all kinds of whatever. But underneath their jaw, there's two jaw bones, and you can, that's almost like really like in yourself kind of thing. But you can get your thumb kind of in that little bit of a groove, and she doesn't like it, but put your fingers on her tongue, and that's the way I was taught. And I don't know, we were counting up the other day. I mean, I haven't done a lot of dogs, but Scoter's probably like the 7th, 8th, 9th dog, somewhere in there.
Okay, so different clothes, different day. We had some technical difficulties. So this is going to be a first, Jeff, because I'm going to try and put some sort of music or like intermission time in between this. So ladies and gentlemen, I had some power failure yesterday when we were recording. And now here it is Sunday morning, and Jeff's come back on, try to get this show banged out. So
It's all good.
It's all good, man. So anyways, Jeff, it stopped yesterday when we were talking about Scoter, and you were talking about, you haven't done a lot of dogs, but I think 8 dogs is a lot that you've trained. And you were just saying some things that you've always done. So yeah, let's pick up where we left off yesterday.
Yep, we had her up on the table this morning, and just short sessions of hold, and try to do. I have not been good. I wanted to do 2 a day, 1 early, 1 late, and I think once I've gotten twice in, but other than that, it's either been early or late. So this morning, Karen says, we're going to do doubles today or not? I said, yep, let's go do it. So we did get her up on the table this morning, and we will get her back up there this afternoon. But to me, it's kind of a quick process once the light goes off in their head, and they understand what's what. And yeah, she's still a very young dog, but at the same time, she's a nice one. I mean, I've had the very first one wasn't necessarily all American, but I've had all American labs, all black. And I got to say, man, like she's got to be right up, at least at this moment, she's got to be right up there with her all. So.
I wanted, because I thought about it a little bit yesterday after, we ended the show, and you had talked about when you start, you're holding your hand in her mouth, and you're up underneath her mandible and stuff like that. I've never seen it, nor have I ever heard of it, but that doesn't mean nothing. But could you explain the reasoning why that's the approach that you were shown? Like, what's the reasoning behind the hand?
Yep. So my early on force fetching dog guru, Dennis Kendall, his idea was is that a dog should be able to hold anything. So I mean, from like a frozen water bottle to a hot water bottle to a piece of pipe that had sand that,
Yep.
as they go side to side, it kind of changes. And again, these are young dogs. So just I won't say try to set them up and trick them, but he taught me that they should be able to hold anything.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, you have the most control. I guess you put a wood down in their mouth, you can sit there and hold it. But again, he told me to do it. I followed along, and that's kind of the way I've always done it. And I do kind of think that I feel like I do have a little bit more control doing that versus sitting there kind of maybe struggling to keep something in their mouth. So I don't know. It's just the first step, and that's the way I've kind of always done it. Like this morning, she actually almost not bit down on me, but actually kind of
held.
She didn't submit 100%, still fighting it a little bit. But the last two, I actually kind of felt a little bit of pressure on her mouth that she was holding. And I've got an old hard, I guess it's about 1.5 inch diameter bumper. And I did throw that in her mouth this morning too. I didn't throw it in her mouth, but placed it in her mouth.
I know what you mean.
Just to get her, just see, is this, are we making any headway? So I felt pretty good about this morning. And, but with dog training, especially young dogs, the wheels can come off the cart at any time. So.
Yeah. And, it's always interesting. I love hearing other people talk about the little tips and tricks that they use because, like the old saying, there's a million ways to skin a cat. And there's some fundamentals when it comes to dog training. But it's still very dependent on, what you were shown, and the type of dog that you have, because not everything works for every single dog. As much as you try to apply it, it just doesn't, right? So, it's pretty cool. I like hearing those things, because now, so my dog, she'll hold, but she won't. Like after a little bit, she'll just get bored and she'll stop holding. You know what I mean? So, and I done the whole roll the bumper into her mouth and just give her a tap underneath the chin, that sort of thing. But I'm wondering, on my next one, I may try that hand in the mouth trick, because I think you're right. You just get a little bit more control, and you'll feel it faster and easier that they're going to let go to hold when you got your hand in their mouth. So makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And like you just said too, I mean, the dogs are all dogs, but at the same time, it's not. I think it's probably more of an art than a science, just because everybody's a little bit different. Each dog's a little bit different, even from the same litter, right? So you just kind of adapt a little bit and use the same principles, but see what works best for the personality and the demeanor, temper of the dog that you got. So
the one thing that you said, that I really enjoyed you saying was, when the light comes on. And I don't have a ton of experience on force fetch, but I've been around fellas doing force fetch, and my good buddy Bill Kennedy, he had a pup that was an amazing dog, like just was picking everything up. But the force fetch idea, I shouldn't say he was picking everything up, literally. He was he was understanding things quickly, but the whole force fetch idea, like that was so foreign to this dog. And Bill was having some heartache, like it was getting frustrating for him. And then one morning he said they went out, and it was just going to be a simple drill, and he picked it up just like that. It was like someone turned on the switch, and the dog was a rock star after that. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's it is, and I always tell people too, just like I'm doing somebody could say, hey, you shouldn't do it twice a day, real quick. I mean, I'm not doing it 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And I always tell people that 10 minutes a day is better than 2 hours on Sunday. So just it's a lot of repetition.
Absolutely.
End it on a good note, and let's do it again, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, that was one of the things I learned fairly quickly, because I had always said, no, I can't get a hunting dog because I can't put the time into training it. I know it's a big responsibility, and but you're 100% right. Like maybe 10-15 minutes a day. That's all I was doing. And just, constantly encouraging and stuff like that. But like, it wasn't hour-long sessions every day by no means. Just quick
No.
little things just to reinforce some things, and like you said, repetition. And yeah, and it's not, as Ricky would say, it's not rocket appliances.
There you go. I was very fortunate back in the day to get to to get to throw birds so that I could then train my
Mm-hmm.
guys on his setup at Ed Forey, running field trials.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Barnes out of Abraham, we trained pretty much daily. And Ed's dogs got, maybe it was a triple and some type of a double blind work in there, and that was basically, his big dogs. That's a triple, or
Yep.
at least three marks.
Yep.
Two blinds, and that was the day. And
Yeah.
I mean, he did 24 dogs that he had to run through, but at the same time, like that was his training for the day.
Yeah. Well, we've got a couple fellas that sort of kind of come out and train with us, but their dogs are pointers, and they're part of this NAVDA, so the North American Versatile Dog Association, I think is what it stands for. Anyways, they're pointers and stuff, and they've come out training with Bill and I, and Bill and I are exactly like what you just said. So for Lander, it would be a couple doubles, a blind, and maybe a Merc, and then that's it, right? And we'd be out training. And Bill and I would run through the 4 dogs that we had in like half hour, and these
Mhm.
guys were like floored because their training in that versatile world is a lot longer than what we were doing, and they couldn't believe that our dogs were able to do the things that they were doing in short amount of time of training that we were doing.
Yep. And like the 3 marks, some dogs saw it as a triple.
Yeah.
Younger dogs saw it as singles. Some
Mhm.
dogs saw it, a double and a single or whatever. Or
Yep.
you can, the concepts are all there, but it's just kind of how did depending on what the level of the dog,
Yep.
age of the dog, how and or what the dog was struggling with at the time,
Yep.
to how you did it. But it was, I enjoy those days, and I can remember quite a bit from it.
Yeah. I got to tell you, so 2 things I seen on your social media last night. So the aerial view of PBHQ, dude, that is a massive building and a massive lot of land. So I kind of feel bad for you, because even though I know you're going to have a lawn tractor, that's a big amount of grass that you're going to have to try and keep down. Like that was impressive, dude. I didn't realize that that lot was as big as what it is.
Well, it's just 3.5 acres, and I guess you could say and everything is relative, right? So
Yeah.
We're coming from the Ocean Pines area, that basically the house sat on the lot. So
Yeah.
the 1/16 of an acre. I tell people on this piece of property, in our development, we still haven't sold in Pinto yet.
Yeah.
But there's probably there would be 18 houses on this piece of property.
That's awesome.
We're in a highly densely, I won't say densely populated area, but it's much different here to there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, of course.
thank you. I do have to say, occasionally, I haven't done it recently because I don't. We've been here, more and more. But there were some times I drive up Peerless Road, and I'd almost have a touch of embarrassment in me. I'm like, oh my goodness, this thing is big. And Chris Wilhelm, the builder, I tell him that, and he's like, yeah, but Jeff, this is what you wanted. And I was like,
Yeah.
I know it is. I know it is, but at the same time, I still have a little bit of a conscience of like, holy moly. And it grew as we
of course.
it evolved, and it got the 16-foot ceilings in the shop went to 18-foot ceilings. So it does, from the outside, I mean, it does look big, and it's, I guess if you want to figure the square footage up in the thing, I mean, it's pushing like 8,200 square feet. So
wow, that's amazing. Shit, I was just going to say something.
It's far from done. It is far from done. It will be a work in progress for quite a while.
Oh yeah, but yesterday when you were talking on the first part of this episode, you were talking about, like it gets frustrating, and people not showing up when they're supposed to show up and stuff like that. But you know, I'm a firm believer that that you the memories that that stick with you are always the ones that are either a little bit harder or more uncomfortable or some. Those are the ones. The easy things are easily forgotten, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yep.
That, you know,
Understood.
at some point you and Karen are going to sit back and just go, hey, remember when this and uh but I remember what I was going to ask you about was quickly, because I think we were, I don't know, was that one of Trisha's things, I guess, and I just had the video. I wasn't totally rude and had the sound on. But your decoy room, dude, that's a big improvement from the trailer.
Light years ahead of the trailer.
Holy smoke. But again, like, this is what you wanted, right? So you built it
Yep.
right the first time.
Yeah, 100%. We're trying to. Could things have been a little bit different? Yeah, but I mean, for what we got currently, it's good. We just got the put a little 1-ton mini split in there, so I've got air conditioning currently. I have heat in the winter, and I can tell. I was in there this morning, and I can tell you, man, like it is nice. It is nice to walk in and not just have the humidity of July and August here in Maryland just whack you. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that if you want to call it a creature comfort, I hope it just makes me be more productive. That's the whole idea. The room's
Yeah.
still not super big. It's 14 by 16, 9-foot ceilings inside, so it's got a nice piece of, like, you don't feel cramped in there, especially with the non. I don't, but it's nice and bright. It's well lit, and I hope to in the future try to produce even more videos. Than just kind of I mean it's that juggling act, I guess. Even just like around me here of like trying to get this finished, but also trying to get I've got a lot of orders for decoys. I've got deposits for decoys. I hate taking people's money for deposit decoys. For hunts, I love the deposit. For decoys, not so much, because it definitely puts the heat on me to get it done. Right. But yeah, it's just kind of that big juggling act right at the moment. And like we said, earlier, that summer is flying by. So I don't know. The mini split, I hate using the phrase a game changer, but it will be that it applies for me there, because it's going to be something that really helps me out.
Well, yeah. So, without knowing everything about the process and how you go about it, but in the like, you weren't doing decoys in the middle of winter in Maryland out in the trailer, right?
No, that's I guess as I just rambled there a couple minutes ago, like it's just going to help my motivation. It's going to keep my motivation stronger. It's going to help me be motivated to get out there, because in sitting in front of a big fan in the trailer in March, when it's, I won't call it cold, but it's definitely not hot. You're sitting in front of a fan. It's like, ooh, man, like it's really, for me, I really had to take that deep breath of like, if I was going to do that, I'm going to endure some wind chill. How about, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing in the summer, man. Like it was like an oven in there. So this again, the inside, and then definitely the mini split is definitely going to help motivate me and make me more comfortable, so that I can spend longer hours at it versus jumping into trail. I can remember this time last year in the summer. I mean, like 4 hours in the afternoon in the trailer, and I was pretty much done. Like I was done. I didn't want to do it anymore. So
wow. I wanted to ask you, because I can't remember getting an update on this from you. But originally, when you had planned PDHQ and you were talking about, the end goal and how you wanted to do this, there was talk of accommodations for people that would come in and do hunts with you, right? Is that still the plan? And if so, it's one of those things that's not going to be ready for this season, but hopefully the following? Is that how it's going to go?
Yes, 100%. I mean, Karen's off to the side here. We're kind of panicking. Geoff and Paulie, and I don't know who all is coming down from PEI at the end of January, and like we're starting to sweat. Are we going to have a place for them to stay? Kind of, it's that kind of. So things are put in place. The the groundwork, if you will, to have it done. But it's more of, do we have the checkbook to make it happen, and or running into the thing of like, how slow things move. So we sat here yesterday in the evening, kind of doing our little catch up meeting together. Just where are we focused and going in the right direction? What needs to be completed next? Just a good timeline for us. And that was one of the things we talked about. Of like, we kind of, there's some stress there of like, wow, we've committed to everybody coming down, and are we going to have a place for them to stay? I mean, early on, Jeff and Judy were going to come down talking about it, late June and right about, June and July, this time period. And like, we kind of laughed, like, what were we thinking? That wasn't even, it's like a pipe dream there, because that wasn't not even close to a reality of.
I was going to say, it seemed like I remember that Geoff and Judy were going to come down summertime and hang out with you guys, but it's crazy, man.
Yeah, and I think I did say yesterday too, like that, March, April, end of March, beginning of April was like my goal to almost say get moved in, but be here, get the CO and be here.
Yeah.
And Chris the builder even said, he's like, I don't know about that one, Jeff. I guess you got a lot to do. And so April 1st came, then May 1st, then June 1st, July 1st, and it's like, just again, Monday becomes Friday, becomes another week that something didn't get done.
I got to give you a chance to give a shout out to the man that made that fire pit for you, because that is slick, buddy. I seen that video this morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is slick. I got to give you a chance to give a shout out to him and drum up some business for him, because he did a fabulous job on that.
Yeah. So the backstory on that is, number one, it's a Fred West. Well, it's a Fred West John Deere green combine rim. And the interesting story there is that this thing had 11 hours on it, and there was something, I can't remember the exact story of what up above melted down or caught on fire, but basically it set the transmission on fire, this thing with 11 hours on it, $750,000 combine. Fred said he and his son Freddie just sat there and watched the thing burn. Like they couldn't do anything to save it. So that's the rim. That's where the rim came. So there's a little bit of backstory on that.
Yeah.
And then this past season at PEI, when Fred and his wife Mary Beth were up, we went over to Paulie's Maggie's Pub, and Paulie had a real nice metal sign cut on the outside. And Fred West is West Farms in Frankfort, Delaware. He's like, man, Fred is a diehard goose hunter, and he's like, man, I want to get a West Farms, goose. That's a great sign, Paulie. On and on and on. So when he came home, that was his goal, to find somebody that could do this.
Yep.
And it ended up being just right up the road, 3 miles up the road in Selbyville, right over state line in Delaware. Walt Mumford Sheet Metal. He just got his new plasma cutter, and it was all computer done. And like, I had to say, it actually has turned. I'm looking at it right there now. It's actually turned out better than what I had envisioned. So it's actually, not that I didn't think it was going to be bad, but this is like, wow, this is it's exactly, it kind of turned out exactly what we wanted. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna, so I guess we can thank Paulie for this, because Paulie started it. Fred got into it. Now you, and now I want a fire pit like that. So now I've got to do it.
And actually too, I really have to give credit to Buster Cooper in Arkansas. He has a Bust the Duck Lodge, and he had one of these. And I even asked him, like, man, where'd you get that? Like, that'd be great to have. And he's like, his brother made it for him. And so anyway, that's really where the seed for this was the seed, like through Buster Cooper. So
okay. No, it's awesome. I love it. And the night, you look at it in the daytime, you're like, oh, that looks nice. It looks cool and clean lines and everything like that. But then in the nighttime with the fire backlighting it, it just shows up even more, right?
Yeah, 100%. We can't wait till the temperatures break a little bit, that it actually will feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. What else you got? So I didn't know that Paulie and Geoff and the boys were. Is it just the boys and their wives, or are they bringing a crew of dudes down to do a hunt in January?
I think I can say the only thing in concrete is that Jeff will be here. The rest of it, I'm not,
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah.
Just not
Yeah.
sure how it's all going to work out. But I think some of it will be decided probably when we're back up there late October.
Right.
But no, I mean it sounds like it could have been a couple's trip.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. Like you often say, it's like, in not from my perspective, maybe more from Jeff's perspective, like herding cats kind of thing, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody says yeah, and then like, who really in the end who really goes kind of
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah.
well, I
Absolutely.
can say 100% that Jeff will be here. Other as far as that goes, I would think there's a very strong possibility that Judy would be along with them. And
Yeah.
I think it just depends on the kind of the travel arrangements. How I heard some talk about possibly somebody was going to fly, and we're in this big group text right now. I don't know. I think there's a lot of talk, and we'll see.
Right.
We'll see how it actually shakes out. But
yeah. Well, I know exactly what you're talking about. So, I still got to try and figure out a way to get down there yet. So, yeah, I totally get it.
Here,
But
man, you got to get here.
yeah, I know I got to get there, and I think it's gonna be something that's so last minute. I think I've got to set aside a window and just say, okay, when Jeff calls me, I've got to be able to just react within 24, 48 hours sort of deal. And just,
I mean, we've talked, I guess, with the Easton Festival last year, the Easton Waterfowl Festival. I mean, you're not, I don't think you're more than 8 hours away, are you?
I know. It's just doing it.
Right.
That's the thing. It's just doing it. And obviously I'd like to bring people with me and to be a lot more fun that way. But at the end of the day, just like we talked about yesterday when we did the first part, being self-employed and making your own hours and doing your own bit, well, that affords you a little bit more flexibility that maybe some people don't have, right? So
100%.
so and it's just got to be one of those things that I just sit that window and just go, okay, Jeff, here it is, give me 48 hours notice and I'm there, and that's just the way it's going to have to be. But I want to get down there. I tell you what I would like to do. I would love to come down and sit in the decoy room with you and just hang out in there for a couple hours and just watch you do your thing, because that's something that I tried to get into the carving, and I just got to, I guess the biggest thing I got to do is get over the fact that I'm going to make mistakes for the first little bit. And it's not going to come out perfect. And I was putting so much time trying to be perfect that, a body was taking me a month just to try and get, and still not close to being finished. You know what I mean? I got to get over that fear and just do it and stuff like that. But that would be my goal, to come down, sit in the decoy room, and of course, get out on a hunt. But I got to ask you, this is a good question. You sent me a video of this, like a biscuit maker or something. What was that? What is that thing?
That is the Duck Blind Bistro. It's badass, man. It's to John, Paul, and Jay from Northeast Alabama. They were just looking for a better way to enjoy cooking in their duck blind. That's what they came up with. So it's a really, I mean, it's at first I was like, but like, especially at the house here, right? Yeah, we can just put biscuits in the oven and be done with it. But I'm telling you, this thing on the stovetop on a burner, you can do 8 biscuits in 8 minutes, because it's about 4 minutes on each side. It's simple and easy and simple. And there's no mess, yes, obviously I have to clean out the bistro when you get done with it, but it's not a big process to do biscuits. And my mom loves biscuits, and we're $2.39 US. You got a 8-pack of Pillsbury, and you throw those things in there, and they call it the ultimate outdoor oven. They have a small companion grill that goes with it, and they've got a couple other neat things in the works that will come out shortly. But yeah, man, it's I'm definitely it'll be used in the world's largest duck boat this year.
That's awesome.
I just haven't figured out. Good, I'm sorry.
So for a heat source, are you just using like a Coleman stove?
Well, in the boat, I will be
Yeah.
using basically a propane burner, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
talking about here at the house, like right on the stovetop on the flame, on
Yeah.
the fire, on we did with the first time we used it, we actually, well, not the very first time, but when they sent the companion grill, we busted that out. We did burgers on it. And at the same time, it just needs heat. Any
Yeah.
type of heat versus this thing is the bomb.
That's amazing.
And again, good.
So for anybody that now that people are listening and they hear this, so if they went on Google and just typed in the duck line bistro, would that pull it up for them?
Yes, it will.
Yeah. Okay. So go check it out. I'm telling you, you probably don't know what we're talking about here, but once you check it out, it is pretty cool. So Jeff sent me the video, and I was like, "What in the fuck is he? What's he doing now?"
Simple, easy, simple. We did we've done quite a couple different tests in it. Karen did some egg, ham, and cheese like breakfast sandwiches one morning in it.
Really?
We did like more, well, not really pizza, more like a calzone.
Right.
We've done that a couple times, and just trying to we were joking around whether it's R&D, research and development, or T&E, testing and evaluation. So I think it's more testing and evaluating how we want to try to what I want to try to use this in the duck boat for this season. So it's a really cool product. It's check it out. Bistro, Bistro, Duck Blind Bistro.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, I got to check it. I bet you, just thinking about it, I bet you could probably make a pretty sick omelet in that thing, and it would take you like a minute to do it because you're right on that flame.
Like on their Instagram feed, especially. So it's a hinged unit, so it kind of got hinges on it. And it's a closed, like, think about two pans that go together, like cast iron pans, if you will, skillets go together. But basically you can take it apart, and we have not done it yet, but they're like doing bacon and they're doing sausage and like in the halves of it when they would take it apart. So it kind of turns into just basically a cooking pan too. But that's kind of the concept of, in the duck blind or, camping outdoors, like you can, it's very versatile, 100%.
Okay, cool. I gotta go check out. I haven't checked out their socials or their website or anything. I just seen the video that you done, so I was like, okay, I gotta check this thing. I gotta see what he's up to this time. And I know, and this just goes along more with the experience that you provide the hunters that come out with you, right? Because you're out on the North Atlantic, in the fall, winds whipping by, not always the nicest day. And you always do your chowder, and now if you can have a hot biscuit with your chowder, oh, buddy.
I think it's going to be a good hunting season. It's going to be a good eating season in the duck boat.
Season, yeah. No, that's awesome, buddy. I think we're close to our hour mark. I think so. We could be a few minutes under, but I think we're close. So, and I gotta thank you for, yesterday coming on, because I know how busy you guys are, and you came on yesterday, and then I lost my power, and then you came back on again this morning, again, knowing full well how busy that you guys are. I can't thank you enough, buddy. You always, whenever I ask you, you never say no. You're always willing to come on, and you don't know how much I appreciate it.
We appreciate you. If I could just take a minute just to say,
absolutely.
We have revamped the Pitboss podcast. Karen, I won't say she's my sidekick, because we've been doing it together. So we have revamped the Pitboss podcast. It's brought to you by the title sponsors, Molly's Place Sporting Goods, as well as other sponsors. There's locally here, Crabs to Go, Duckwater Boats, Dirty Duck Coffee. There's something we're kind of really excited about there that we're going to announce here shortly.
Okay.
And who am I forgetting? Duck Blind Bistro is the sponsor, as
Yeah.
well as Karen's Whaleyville Wagon Tail. So we're doing that. We took a page out of your book, Damon, and tried to get be structured. The structure was my biggest
Yep.
issue before. I've tried to really, with Karen cracking the whip on me. She can hear me off to the side here, but yeah. So we do that, and we're having fun with that. So we got that going on, and other than that, man, just things are well, and we're just if anything, like I said earlier, summer's kind of flying by.
No, I'm glad you brought it up, because I meant to ask about the podcast, and I never made a note about it, and it just totally slipped my mind. But I gotta admit, I haven't gotten to do a deep dive into them yet. But your range of guests, like, you got good storytellers, like you got good people coming on the show, right? It's not a monotone, it's entertainment. And I think that's you see a lot of, it seems like the podcast world is growing and growing daily, especially in this industry, right? You're starting to see a lot of people doing it, and it's great because it's given so many options. But and not slagging anybody, but there needs to be an entertainment value there, right? And that's what you're doing. The guests that you're bringing on, like, they're good storytellers, and it's entertaining, and it's good, and there's some history there, and I like it. I like the fact that you do it right out on your front veranda there, if that's the right word for it. That's what I would call it. But you know, out on your front veranda, you and Karen, and you just do your thing, and it's awesome. And like I said, it is entertaining, and I urge anybody that's listening to go check it back out, because I know you have tried a couple times, and then you and I tried to do the Pitboss Punisher, the P&P podcast. But you know what you got going on now, the people should check it out, because it is good entertainment.
Thank you. And that to me is, are we going to talk about waterfowl and hunting? Sure, and we have, but it's more of, sometimes it's just go off on a tangent. I'm easy to get off on a tangent, and it's very nice to have somebody sitting here. Some of them in the future, they will not be. We're going to attempt to get G off on this afternoon, and do one. So that one, obviously, he is not going to be here, but it has been cool to have people actually sit down, and try to, there's the people that I've had, Big Bird Cropper. I mean, he if you saw that episode, it's a pretty entertaining episode. As Big Bird will tell you, I called him a local, and he corrected me and said he's a native of the area. There's not many people that I think that are Ocean City, Maryland. Like, everybody for the Western Shore wants to be on the Eastern Shore, kind of thing, right? So there's not a lot of us. I'm not from here, right? So it's definitely not from here. Australia's far away. But Big Bird grew up here. Cropper's is a very
prominent name.
Yeah, rooted into the community, and it was a good episode, man. I want to get him back on, because there's just I know more of the stories that he could tell. That we just didn't want to make it go on and on and on and on. So it'd be,
no, you got to keep people wanting to come back for more, buddy. That's the trick. So no, good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we're into that, and like I said, I've committed to a Monday show for 52 weeks, which started June 17th. If that's my 12th or the 17th, somewhere in there is a Monday, and so we'll see. Maybe slight challenging once duck season gets here, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah,
it do, but it's, the if I could give you any
please do.
It's not advice. It's just sometimes it can be like, I gotta go do a show and I'm busy and stuff like that. But then you think about the guests that you have on, and you just know that, oh, this is going to be a fun time. And that's ultimately what it is. 'Cause sometimes I'm just like, man, I'm just busy. But then I'm like, oh, this is going to be a fun one, because I get to ask some questions that I've been wondering. And if I'm wondering them, chances are somebody else is. So that's, the people that come on is what make it fun. Right.
We try to do like a Wednesday, a shorty on Wednesday. And I don't want to. Yes, we have sponsors, but I don't want to make it. I don't want the podcast to be you got to go buy from our
Yes.
sponsors. That's not my mentality, right?
Yep.
But at the same time, we definitely want to thank the sponsors, the
Of
people
course.
that take time to sponsor. So I was like, hey, let's do we'll do a quick shorty on Wednesday and like call it like the sponsor highlight kind of thing, and we can talk about basically talk about the sponsor themselves. And so we did one. We were, hot, sweaty. You're talking about motivation, right? That's where I'm trying to go with this. Motivated. It's like, Karen, we got to do this. And she's like, she wasn't into it. Long day. We procrastinated, we're doing other things.
Yep.
And we did it. And like, we both kind of at the end of it, like, well, that sucked. Like, that was not good. Kind of went to sleep thinking that way. I woke up the next morning to edit it, and I went through it. And except for me saying why I said, well, I'm not going to say what I said, but it was a Key and Peele skit.
Okay. Yeah.
On YouTube, and basically they were talking about vaginas, and I made a reference that like Karen and our minds should be synced up, like they said that vaginas sync up, and I said I had a vagina. So Karen, I don't know why did I? I'm definitely going to cut that out. So like edited that out, but I was like, damn, Karen, look at this. We thought it sucked yesterday because we weren't in a good mood. I was like, this is a really good little short episode. So it is funny how where I'm trying to go with this is, yes, motivation is you got to take the time to do it. I agree with you 100%. And that day, like, Karen, we got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do this. And she was not into doing it. And I think it turned out to be pretty good.
Well, and that just makes it easier the next time when you're not feeling down for it, right? You just, remember the last time we thought it was going to be sucky, and it turned out to be a great episode. So let's go do it. Yeah. No, it's awesome, buddy. I'm happy for you. I'm glad that I'm glad that you're into the house now. It's not finished, but you're in there, and it'll make life a little bit easier for you come this season. You're not, the boat will be right there with you. Everything is all within reach now. And then once the season comes, I look forward every morning. I look forward to your videos every morning when you're in the truck, and I, without being on the Eastern Shore, you get an idea of what's going on every day. Like, there's no questions asked. Like, this is the weather today, and this is how the shooting went. And I love it, and I know, and we've talked about it before. Like, your social media, your analytics, like, they spike in the season, right? Like, you got, like so there's so many people that are like me that are living vicariously through your videos, right? So, buddy, I'm happy for you. I really am, and I can't wait to see what this season brings. And I still just, we live so far apart, but I still know just as much about you because I'm watching all your videos anyways. So it's great, buddy. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you for following along with us. And I love technology, and man, just things keep getting better and better. So
yeah,
you got to use what's available to you. And
absolutely.
There's a lot of negative out there, but you can make a lot of positive out of it too. So
absolutely, man. And I think that's one of the biggest responsibilities as me, you, and anybody that's doing these podcasts and social media and doing these posts and stuff, is there's too much negative out in the world, and there's too much positive that is just getting hidden away, and it's our responsibility to bring it to the forefront. And I think that's what you're doing, I'm doing, and so many more people within this social media world, in the waterfowling world, I guess they're trying to do. So that's enough of me rambling on.
Oh, it's all good, man. Like I said, there's plenty of got me, man. A big old horse fly right on top of my neck. Got me. You got me good. Yeah, there's a lot of negative out there, but you just keep it on the positive side, and just keep moving and keep going. We will have you on if you'd like. And I can tell you more about it later. I want to try to, and Geoff's going to be a little twofold this afternoon. Number one, it's a different platform. I'm going to try recording with him.
Yep.
Because I do want good video, I do want good audio. And in the once if this works, well, twofold. Number one, he's going to be a test for us, and we do have we're going to talk about our trip up. And Jeff's doing a little bit more guiding this year on PEI, so we want to talk about that. But at the same time, try to dial in. It's not much different than what you're using right now, but it's something a little different that I need to feel more confident and comfortable with, and then I'll be able to do more better production. I think is probably what I'm trying to say.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, yeah, anytime, buddy. Anytime you need anything from me, just ask. I'm there.
Thank you.
I'm there with bells on.
Awesome. We appreciate you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this was part 2 of episode 153. Let's see if my editing skills can put in some intermission sort of thing. If not, you'll know that I failed miserably and I just gave up on the idea. But everybody, Jeff Coates, check out his new podcast. Check him out. If you're not following him on social media already, I don't know what you're doing, because it's good entertainment, regardless if it's cooking, if it's augering holes in the ground for a fence post, no matter what it is, it's good entertainment. So go check Jeff out and Karen and watch their you can watch life right on social media, what you guys are doing, because you document pretty much everything that you guys do, and it's always interesting stuff. So go check them out. Jeff, buddy, you are the unofficial 6th member of this show. You always have been, you always will be. We can't thank you. I can't thank you enough. I know the boys wish they could be on today, but their lives are just as crazy as what ours are. Actually crazier, I would think. So yeah. Thanks, buddy, for coming on.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you. Thinking of you, we are. Boom.
Big love. Don't be a douchebag to people. Be nice to one another, and put some positivity out in the world. Surround yourself with good people. This was episode 153. Until next time.